Hey guys, Kovorix here again. I have a Tempest clip for you to break up the Talos monotony the past couple weeks. I do have another Talos clip, but I'm going to do that one later. But before I get started, I really just want to thank everybody that gave any ISK over the past week, whether it was a little or a lot. I really appreciate it, guys. Anything that lets me just keep PvPing and keep trying to get videos and stuff, it's really awesome. So, anyways, now to the clip. I've got so I'm in my Tempest. This is sort of my maybe my signature fit. It's a dual rep fit. So I have the 2 reps, and then I have tank mods and 1 gyrostab in the low, and then I have 5 mids. You can actually probably see them all in my overview since they're all active. And then I have 425s and a heavy newt and a large smart bomb in the highs. This is probably my favorite PvP ship actually overall. Mostly it's really for 2 reasons. One is that it's pretty unexpected. A lot of people expect Tempest to be fit these days with their shield nano or their buffer armor buffer. So I get a lot of surprise when I engage gangs. They're not expecting me to be repping back up. And the other reason I really like it is it's pretty versatile. It's got good speed, or okay speed. It's got good range. It's got a really great slot layout with 2 utility highs and 5 mids. And even though the tank and gang stats aren't particularly great, you can get better damage and better armor repping out of other battleships for the same price. But there's something about it that just there's something about the way it gets fights for some reason. I just always get these fights where I feel like I just barely pull out, and that's been in a couple of my previous videos. You can go check them out if you want. But I'm going to go ahead and press play right now since there's a lead up to the fight. But the other thing I really like about it is it's got a lot of active mods on it, and it's really kind of a challenge to fly. It's like there's a lot to manage with when flying it. So I always feel like I never do it perfectly, but it's always kind of fun. It's like by the seat of my pants, kind of trying to manage everything. But I kind of also want to caution people against flying it too much, just because the state of battleship. So if you don't have a scout, like I don't, it's really, you tend to lose it in really stupid ways a lot of times. You'll jump into a gang that you just can't do anything against, and they'll sabers and a falcon or whatever, and they'll lock you down. And and it's an expensive loss. So I use it sparingly, and I guess unless you have a lot of ISK, I would do the same. But here I am in Cloud Ring. I found this gang. It's actually a roaming gang, which is somewhat unusual. It's 2 hurricanes. I see 2 hurricanes and a Brutix on scan. And they're roaming up ahead. They actually have 2 tacklers up ahead of them scouting for them. But I think at this point they've seen me. And my idea in this fight, like always, is that I need to split them up, right? It's a great gang for me to fight. This ship's good at killing battle cruisers, but it's just way too much DPS for me all at once. 2 hurricanes and a Brutix could easily be 1500 to 2000 DPS if they're fit right. So I really want to avoid taking them all on at once. But so my first thought is that I need to split them over a gate, right? Use aggression. So that's what I'm about to do here. I'm actually going to jump into them. They saw me, and now they're going to wait for me on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and jump through, and hopefully they'll aggress me, and then something will follow me to the other side to try to catch me. And that's great because they're going to feel like I'm running away, and so they're probably going to be a little more reckless in chasing me with whatever they have. So that's the way I really want to split them up. And you can see the 2 hurricanes aggress me here, and the saber and the Brutix don't. I think actually, I forget if there was a recent change where sabers can't jump while their probes are out, but I figure the Brutix didn't aggress me, right? So he could jump through with me, and I could fight him and maybe get him close to dead before the 2 hurricanes come in. So that's really great. That's exactly what I want. And I'm actually going to go even further, and I'm going to start burning out away from the gate, so that not only do I have those 30-45 seconds between whatever comes through and the 2 hurricanes, but they also have to burn a little ways before they can get to me, especially if they come out on the wrong side of the gate, or if they come out on different sides of the gate. That can split them up even more. So that's sort of what I'm thinking here in burning off the gate. And what comes through is not exactly what I expect. The Brutix doesn't come through. The Malediction and the Saber are going to come through. So the 2 tacklers they have, there'll be more about why that happened later, but So now I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to get off the gate, but the Malediction and the Saber also are trying to get me to, they want me to stop because they think I'm running away. So they're coming in and landing these scrams, so I'm sort of like trying to struggle with trying to get them off me while I move away from the gate. I'm still hoping to split up whatever comes through on the other side. But I get on the Saber here because I think he's going to be the easier one to track, and in general he's a little more dangerous because he can shoot out probes. So he's my primary choice here. And now I'm pretty much as far off the gate as I need to be. So now the Hurricane's come through. The Brutix still hasn't come through, which is really weird, but I think the reason for that is that he must either be blue to them and not in gang, or he's boxed by one of them, or he's just not on comms or something, because they weren't shooting him, but he's also not really coordinated with them. So that makes this whole fight quite a bit more manageable, actually. So now the two Hurricanes are coming in. You can notice actually how fast they're going. At least one of them is going 1,300 meters a second, which means that he's got to be shield fit, right? So I know that my EMP ammo is right. I want to try to get my ammo right, at least to begin with in this fight, is pretty important. And so now they're going to come in. I actually happen to know from flying this ship quite a lot that I can manage two Hurricanes relatively well. Even under all the newts, I can still rep okay. And you're going to see they've both got two medium newts, so I'm going to be under a lot of newting power, and that really goes into sort of my tanking decisions too, right? I mean, Kill 2 and I talked about active tanking in an episode not that long ago, and we talked about bait tanking. And in this situation, it would be nice to bait tank, right? Especially if I kill one and the other one wants to leave right before he dies. It would be, bait tanking could be really useful, but when I'm under this much newting pressure, it's actually a really bad idea, because I could be caught with low armor and low cap. Maybe I'm reloading both my cap boosters at the time, and I just die sort of in between cap booster cycles, which would be a real pain. So I'm being more careful with my reps, and I'm trying to keep them up relatively high. Another thing to note is I'm using my heat here on the first Hurricane, right? I mean, it's the first damage ship. I want to get as much damage off the field as possible. And you can see actually the Brutix came in, so I'm thinking I really need to cut the damage down before the Brutix can catch up. So I'm using my my heat to bring the Hurricane down as quickly as possible. So the Hurricane came, or the Brutix came in, but he's not burning. So again, he's not really coordinated with them. Maybe he's waiting to see how this shakes out, and then he'll jump in. But so the first Hurricane goes down, and that really makes everything quite a bit more manageable. Another thing I did on that Hurricane was I used my heavy newt, and I used it, actually shut off his newts most of the way through the fight, which I think probably saved me cap in the end. That'll actually come to matter later, you'll see. But so now it's just this one Hurricane, and now I'm feeling pretty confident, right? Have no problem tanking this one Hurricane, and I want to get this Brutix into the fight so I can get as many kills as possible. So I turn around and I start slow boating back towards the Brutix, hopefully enticing him to come in and fight, which you'll see works in a second. Also, my drones, the Malediction warped out and warped back in. My drones decided to have a mind of their own and start shooting him, which is actually, they actually have a pretty good idea there. I want to get off as much tackle off the field as I can, just in case. That's pretty good. If you can get tackle off, you should, just because in case Blob comes in or something. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my web to him here so that my drones have a little bit of an easier time with him. But now the Brutix is burning at me, so I want to get my armor rep back up, because the damage is about to start going back up again. And again, I'm turning my heat on here. I use my heat just because this Hurricane is not going down fast enough. Actually, you'll notice that I'm not taking as much damage as you would think I would take, right? At least going into this fight, I thought two Hurricanes, I'm used to two Hurricanes doing a lot more damage than they're doing here. I should be, they could be doing 1,200 DPS. Up close like this, which is even more than I can tank. That would really be pushing my tank to the limit, but they're really not. And I think the reason for that, I checked the kill board later. Their fits are good, but they both have EMP ammo loaded, which is a really huge mistake. But it actually kind of goes back to what I was talking about, expectations with this ship. I'm in a Tempest, I'm solo, and I'm burning off the gate. Maybe they just figure that I must be shield tanked if I'm doing that. So they load EMP ammo, and that really increases the amount of damage that I'm able to take in this situation. Another cool thing I just did there, you can see I switched my point to the Brutix even though the Hurricane's not dead. That's really nice in this situation, especially since I'm tanking really strong. The reason I could do it was that I saw the Hurricane wasn't aligned to anything, right? He was pointed away from everything, so he's not even aligned to warp out. So there's really not even a reason for me to have my point on him if he's not aligned out, because there's no way he's getting out. So I was able to switch my point to the Brutix there and keep him in the fight, even though I'm tanking really strong and I'm pretty clearly, I look really strong in this situation. But actually, as you'll notice, I'm actually charging my last Cap Booster charge here. I've completely run out, and that actually makes this fight, this fight was really in my favor for most of the time, but now all of a sudden it's really called into question, I think. Now I'm out of Cap Booster, so the cap you see there is the amount of rep cycles I'm going to get out. And so I'm overheating there so I can get as much yield out of that cap as I can, right? And so now once my cap runs out, basically all I can do is watch and wait. And I think this is kind of really cool, just because everything that happened, all the decisions I made in this fight up until now have come to bear in this moment where I don't have any Cap Booster charges, right? I mean, I wasted cap burning off the gate. I don't know if that was wasted or not. Maybe it was worth it. And I also used my Heavy Newton there, and also their decisions like using EMP ammo. Maybe if they had used Fusion, I would have a lot. I would have used more cap repping, and I would be in a lot more trouble here. But it's actually kind of a tense situation. Bringing him into structure now, but I'm completely out of rep. So you can just watch my armor ticking down while his structure is ticking down. And luckily, though, I come out on top. I come out with like a fourth armor. But again, it's sort of like, maybe I should have loaded less ammo and more Cap Booster charges, but really, it sort of came down to the wire there, even though it wasn't so apparent through most of the fight. So that was really kind of a perfect fight for this ship. 3 battlecruisers and 2 tackle ships, and I killed all of them, and I had a really good time doing it. And I do, I said I discourage people from flying this ship and other armored battleships, but I do want to encourage people to fly more brawly ships sometimes. It's tempting to just always fly nano ships, since that's sort of where the game is headed to some extent. But at the same time, there's something really fun about this kind of fight that you don't necessarily get. If I was in a Talos, I'd probably engage that gang anyways, but I might not have killed all of them, and also I might not have had as much fun doing it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this this commentary, and I'll see you guys this weekend for the podcast.